Hello, fellow residents of Tamriel. It is the Beeve, and we are back with another updated build video for Update 41. This is the video for the extremely hard hitting, extremely single target uh, Stamina Sorcerer. This build that I have right here has not changed whatsoever from the previous video I made. I've not made any changes to it at all, and it still hits like a truck, plain and simple. Most of our builds, because of the changes to hemorrhaging and the changes to the barbed trap, aren't hitting as hard as they were before, but this one right here is still just a single target monster. Uh, we are using an orc for this build. We are using just bewitched sugar skulls because we are able to pretty easily sustain on the trial Atronach, and with the bewitched sugar skulls, we got a boatload of health. So, it's character sheet wise, 26k in health, 30k in maximum stamina. 17k in maximum magicka. Recoveries aren't huge, but it's not really that big of a deal. If you find yourself having trouble with recovery, you can always go with um, the Orteum Takeaway Broth, which is very expensive. You can go with Dubious Camoran Throne, which is a lot cheaper. And you could even go with Lava Foot Soup and Saltrice if you choose to do that as well. All of those, like the Lava Foot, isn't going to give you any health whatsoever, but it's going to give you a lot of maximum stamina, a lot of stamina recovery. Um, I don't think you need to go that route. Like, you can get away with using Dubious, which will give you a little extra health and more than enough stamina recovery, in my opinion. But if you need more, you can always go with the Lava Foot. Our weapon and spell damage sitting buffed at 5561. Critical is sitting at 50.4. Penetration's really low because we still are using a heavy Zon shoulder piece, which we need to put over in light, but I just haven't felt the need to switch it over. I don't think it's going to be completely build changing to have one piece of light rather than one piece of heavy on. I mean, it'll change it a little bit, but not so much that I'm going to put 25 crystals into making it. All of our points are in Stam, and we are using the Thief Mundus Stone. Our gear selections, just as before, we are using the Maelstrom's Perfected Greatsword infused with a weapon and spell damage enchantment. Our front bar weapons in jewelry are going to be Aegis Collar, medium armor set found out of Unhallowed Grave. Pretty easy to farm. It's definitely something that you can farm uh, on normal and then just improve, upgrade your gear rarity. The main hand dagger that we're using is Nirnhoned with flame damage, and our offhand is charged with poison damage. Our jewelry is all three pieces in Bloodthirsty. All three pieces have weapon and spell damage enchantments on them. Monster Helm is on Head and Shoulders. This is a uh, monster helm that is found in Scale Color Peak on Vet. You get the helm out of there, and the undaunted orc lady is where you can spend your keys to get the shoulders. Both of those are in divines. Um, I need to change this, or no, I don't. This is the one that I need to change right here. I need this in light, but I have it in heavy. But they both have maximum stamina and chance on them. And the five piece that we're going with on the body right now is Reliquin. This is a medium armor set out of Cloud Rest. I am not using the perfected version of this. Perfected version would add another 1031, I think, maximum stamina. So you get a little bit more stamina having the perfected version, but it's not completely groundbreaking to not have it. Yeah, you're doing just fine without the perfected version. All in divines, all with stamina enchants on them. Champion tree, green and red, as always. Have at it however you like. Blue tree, I am currently using Wrathful Strike slotted, Deadly Aim slotted, and Master at Arms slotted. And to get to that 125 crit cap, I am using Fighting Finesse. If you forego using a uh, if you forego using the two-piece monster helm, you can always go with a one-piece slime crawl, and then put on the harpooner's waiting kit, which will give you a little bit more crit chance and will give you enough crit damage to get to cap to where you can actually use like untamed aggression here instead of the fighting finesse, or you could go with exploiter if you're using if you're in utilized group where somebody is providing off balance. I mean, you could even go with weapons expert and give your light attacks 20% more damage. Like there's a bunch of different options that you can go with if you're going to use the kilt in only one piece. I like using the Zon myself because of the it's 10 seconds worth of damage from the Zon plus every tick of damage gives a refreshes the burning status effect. So you get 14 seconds of burning status effect plus 10 seconds of on damage. When I go over this on the PTS, honestly, the helm itself and the burning go hand in hand with each other, and they both run between like 4 and 4,500 damage per second. So between wearing this helm gives me about 8 to 9K in DPS total output on the PTS. When I get a chance to run this on PTS and actually take the video on there, I can show it a little bit more in depth. But the Zon monster helm on this tune is just it's a monster. Plus, you're always within you know melee ranged for it to proc and stay active. Skills, same as before. Stampede to proc our Maelstrom weapon. Hurricane to provide damage and give us minor expedition and major resolve for our resistances and 15% movement speed. Barb trap for the this does give the initial hit now does do hemorrhaging, but it doesn't have an increased chance anymore, so hemorrhaging doesn't go off as much as it used to before, but we're still getting the minor force that comes from this, plus the uh, bleed damage up front, the bleed damage over time, the hemorrhaging damage up front, and then the chance to proc hemorrhaging after that. So it is it's still a really good option here, especially it's just got too much utility. Volatile Familiar and Twilight Tormentor are going to be on both bars. Uh, these are however you want to run them. We'll go over that here in a few, but both of these are on each bar, obviously, because they're pets. They have to be on both bars. Our ultimate, we are using Greater Storm Atronach. This will be our hardest hitting single target ultimate right here. When you pair the damage this deals with the damage increase from Daedric Prey, it is just, it hits like a truck, plain and simple. On the front bar, we are using Rapid Strikes. This is our main damage dealing spammable and unmatched by any other ability that a lot of classes have at the moment. It's kind of disappointing that one weapon ability right now is outdoing any class ability, but it is what it is. So here we are spamming Rapid Strikes. Daedric Prey. This is a very important ability right here. You want to make sure you're trying to keep this up 100% of the time. You want to apply it, wait the 6 seconds, let it completely fall off and explode, and then reapply it after the explosion. The damage that you get from it is pretty amazing, and while it's active, your pets do 45% more damage as well. So keeping this as active as possible and up all the time is vital. And you also want to make sure that you're letting this fall off to get that damage explosion from it also. Crystal fragments. This is a priority as well. You want to make sure anytime this procs, we're hitting our crystal fragments. It's just a very cheap and heavy damage ability when the crystal fragment procs. So, you know, you want to make sure you're doing that. Once again, pets on both bars. And then Flawless Dawnbreaker. We have this here for the extra weapon and spell damage that we get from the Slayer passive. Plus, it is nice in it's nice in trash fights. It does a good bit of damage up front, does damage over time, and then it does increase your weapon and spell damage by 300 for 20 seconds. So it gives you a little bit more weapon and spell damage as well. So it's a good option for like trash mobs if you want to do something like that. It has a conal to it that can hit multiple things. With this build being as single target oriented as it is already, this is just something you can add to it to help clear trash packs in like 4-man content and trials and whatnot. The rotation, easy peasy. When we start the fight, there's going to be two different options that we go with here. When we start the fight, we're going to activate both our pets, and then I always activate my Hurricane. I'll charge in with my Stampede, lay my trap, bar swap, apply Daedric Prey, and then just start rapid striking. When Daedric Prey falls off, we reapply it. When Crystal Fragments procs, we hit it. But other than that, you're spamming rapid strikes, reapplying prey, or proccing Crystal Fragments until your front bar abilities are about depleted. Then you bar swap, reapply your dots, and then bar swap and start over. It's a pretty simple rotation, honestly. It's very rapid strike heavy, and after that initial running into the fight and activating both pets, you don't have to activate them again, honestly. I'm going to show you two different parses at the end of this video. One of them is what I did, only activating the numbers I got, only activating my pets at the beginning of the fight, and then I did another parse where I kept the pets active at all times. Well, at least my volatile familiar stayed active the whole fight, and I activated my tormentor for the first 50% of the fight as well to get his bonus damage also. And the differences between them were there was no difference. Both parses hit 117k. So it just shows you just stopping you to hit both of these abilities and missing out on 2 or 3 of the rapid strikes to reapply these. There was no difference in damage. So I'll attach both of those parses at the end of this video, so you can see both of them and see the damage they did. But both of them hit 117k. So you can activate pets when you first run in and be done with them and still produce heavy amounts of damage. We're going to parse on the 3 million dummy here, kind of give you an idea of what the rotation is going to look like. So we're going to activate both pets. We're going to activate Hurricane, Charge, Trap, Ultimate, Potion, Prey, and then spam Crystal Fragments and spam Rapid Strikes and proc Crystal Fragments, or hit Crystal Fragments whenever they proc. reapply, bar swap. This is basically what this rotation consists of. So on the 3 million, that just hit 45,172, and that might not look like a lot to some of the, you've probably seen higher numbers than that before, honestly. But take into consideration, when we're on our front bar, we're at 700 physical penetration. So, like, we are 18,000 under penetration cap and still hitting 45k in damage. Like, you got a tank in here providing, pierce armor for you, which is gonna, lower those resistances almost another 10k right off the bat right there. Well, 8k, almost 9k, whatever. That's another, 6-7,000 damage on top of what you're already doing right there, maybe even more. At base 45k with no penetration, you're doing pretty darn good. When you get into 4-man content, you're going to be you're hitting well over 50k depending on your group dynamic, your group chemistry. You might be hitting 60 or more. You know, organized groups in trials, you've seen the number above that is the 117,242. That right there was the parse where I kept the pets active all the time. So that's the parse number from activating the pets all the time. You'll see in the first video, parse video is that I'm going to attach at the end of this is going to be, activating my pets one time and then never activating them again. And that one hit 17,000, I think 900, to be honest with you. So there was no difference in the amount of damage done. And I didn't have to activate both the pets every rotation. It was just more focused on, like you just seen right there with the 3 mil dummy, just, rapid striking, reapplying prey, and, hitting crystal fragments when they proc. But once again, this is a really heavy hitting, high damage single target monster right here. And if you got a group that's in need of something that can just stick to a boss and do high amounts of damage, right there's your answer for it. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it greatly. Stay tuned for more Update 41 videos coming. I can't wait to get some of them posted and start getting some feedback from people. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in, and happy adventuring.